Yo, what's poppin', people? Your boy Snacks is back in the building with another banger. And you know how we do. Before we get started, y'all know what we do. We take our time and shout out the people that took the time to watch this video. And while you're here, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and do not forget to leave your comments down in the comment section of the video. So we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. What has transpired for our young Shedeur Sanders and what kind of mess it's going to create in the media sphere. It won't create a big mess in the office space, in the locker room, but in the media space. He has opened the door for all the haters to get their shots in. Let's go. Now, as we know, on late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, Shedeur Sanders got that speeding ticket for doing 100 in a 60, which is excessive, which is really, really bad. We're not excusing what he's done. There is no reason to be doing 100 miles an hour, period. But once again, everybody's young. Everybody speeds. I live in Texas. Hell, the speed limit is 80 in Texas. And in some places you get on the interstate doing less than 80, you might get run over. But I grew up in Germany. The Autobahn was a raceway. So high speed is nothing for me. My older brother still does about 95, 100 going to work now. And he lives in Alabama, and we were raised overseas, and speeding is just in him. You know, I'm cool and comfortable. I drive trucks, so speeding is not my thing. I don't own a car, period. I own all SUVs, mid-size, extra large ones. I don't own a car. My kids don't have cars. So there are some things that I just don't do. But speeding is commonplace everywhere we go. But for Shedeur, speeding and the Sanders name and the place you hold in Cleveland does not go together. And by this one act, one out of character act, has opened the door for all of the haters to run through and start to shout. But we haven't done what we normally do this far into this video, and that's give a shout out to the CU aunties for taking the time out and coming by each and every video and showing love in the comment section, liking the videos, sharing the videos. I see you ladies. We appreciate it. And when you see them in the comment section, give them a shout out, show them some love. But back to Shedeur and the speeding. It is natural, but again, for a player in that position, for a player that people are looking for you to mess up, this is something that should not happen. But 92.3, the fan had some choice words.
Punished for somebody for something that could happen when that didn't happen. And I just think it's really interesting, this idea. I don't know definitively if the Browns would use Shedeur's speeding ticket against him in the quarterback battle. I think it sounds dumb. Like if
I
the
think it
Browns,
sounds dumb too.
if the Browns got to the end of the postseason or the end of the preseason, they're like, you know what, Shedeur is a better quarterback.
Yeah, no, he's slightly better, but that's speeding ticket.
But that speeding ticket, I think if anyone were to try and tie this into the pre-draft process, I think it's a reach of the century. I do. I think it's.
You mean you're trying to couple this and be like, this just means he makes bad decisions? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. The idea of speeding at night at 12:30 at night.
Because that's the connection some people are making,
yes.
right? Is like he had a couple missteps before the draft process. He obviously, the interviews didn't go very well, and people put that on his decision-making. And it's like, it's just a longer list of things where he just has failed in the decision-making process.
Like, for instance.
Which I think is insane, by the way. I think if you don't want to like him, just tell me you don't like him.
That is true. If you don't like him, tell me you don't like him. Mary Kay Cabot, the incident should be an enormous wake-up call for Shedeur Sanders. Why? And I'm sure Coach Prime has already gotten on his case for something this egregious, this stupid. It was dumb. It was childish, and you weren't thinking. I don't know what the purpose was, what the situation was, but doing it and getting caught doing it is a problem, especially on a day where Henry Ruggs, who spent a few years of his life in the penitentiary for drunk driving over 100 miles an hour and killing a young lady in the process. This is not a good look. And for people that's been looking for that chink in your armor, this is one way. You cracked it. And they're going to beat it until it bursts open so they can get through. People like Colin Cowherd, who has been an upwardly supporter of Shedeur, all of a sudden is like, no, we shouldn't be doing this. We got to do something about this.
So yesterday, Shedeur Sanders got caught speeding over 100 miles an hour. He's a quarterback. Mike Tomlin often says 2 is a trend. Can't screw up 3 or 4 times. 2 is a trend. Just 2 times. I'm not sure if I need 2 times when you're a young quarterback. 1 bad judgment turns me off. But I have now, in the last couple of months, 2 things that really turn me off with Shedeur Sanders, who I have championed. That cringy, awful, legendary draft room. Bro, you're a B prospect. You know, your dad's prime time, who led with his ego for years. You got to have a little self-awareness. I had more than one GM say, total turnoff. Come on, it's not the end of the world. It's a bad look. And now this. 100 miles an hour. Yep. All you fanboys, go ahead. Manziel, Baker, Deshaun Watson, defended it to the hilt on your Reddit account. Sorry. Don't minimize it. Don't pander. This is not good for a quarterback. Not good. As of today, and I've said this for years, I do not cling to opinions. New information, new opinion. I'm an airline pilot. We got a storm coming. Here's the latest radar. I'm changing my route, not flying headfirst into it. I don't think about him the same. There was a moment I thought Will Levis, about 4 months out from the draft, had a chance. And I turned on Will Levis when he started showing up like a bodybuilder, gun show. And I had 2 NFL coaches, both needing quarterbacks, who text me. Got my number and text me. They're like, this is the exact conversation we are having in our building right now. 2 NFL coaches, head coaches. They're like, bro, we're laughing watching this. It matters. New information. Legendary. 100 miles an hour. Judgment is 50% of being a quarterback. When you fall to 144 in the draft, and then try to match that number behind the wheel of a car, yeah, I don't think the same. You ignored signs with Manziel and Baker. And apparently, based on the traffic violation, Shedeur was avoiding some signs too, the ones that say stop. I feel differently today. I'm not as high on him. I'm not sure he's mature enough.
But it doesn't matter what Colin Cowherd's thoughts are because he changes them bi-weekly. He didn't like Shedeur during the draft process. He liked Shedeur during camp. Now he doesn't like Shedeur again, which he just said his opinion changes with new information, and that's fair. But people are also allowed to make mistakes. Being a young kid at that age, 23, 24, you're allowed a few mistakes. Football quarterback or not. All of us have made them. All of us will make them. And what matters is next week, will he get a speeding ticket for doing 100? So if he never gets another speeding ticket for doing 100, then problem solved. Everything's over with. And if he would have followed protocol, none of us would have never heard about this. And that's how you know this is something he has never done before. Y'all hit the like button. This is something that has never happened. I know a bunch of pro players. And in a situation like that, when you get pulled over, there is a card that the organization gives you. And you give that officer that card. If you're not drunk, if you haven't done anything to cause harm to anyone, the officer will say, okay, got you. Let me see your driver's license and your insurance. And this incident is never heard of before. Never heard of again. Matter of fact, it doesn't even make the police blotter because it's never logged as a ticket. And it's just done and over with. That's how you know nothing like this has ever happened in his life. Because I promise you, he had the means to get out of it. Didn't know how to use them. If there is a next time, which I sincerely doubt that there will be a next time, we'll never hear of it. Because he'll know what to do. Not only that, he's mindful of who he is and what his namesake is. And the people that are watching him and waiting on him to make a mistake, to screw up in any matter, whether it's small or large, they're just waiting on him to screw up. Mary Kay Cabot put that quote up there. This incident should be an enormous wake-up call for him. Why? He did something wrong for once. In the 24 years that he's been alive, he made a mistake publicly. Okay, it happens. Where do we go from here? What happens next? How do we improve on it and not let it happen again? It's simple. We don't drive 100 miles an hour. Okay, done. He wasn't drinking. He wasn't high. He wasn't racing. So it's a simple fix. It shouldn't affect anything. But you heard Colin go back to that draft room, and that draft room still has him sick because it had legendary, and that's his moniker. That's his brand. Colin Cowherd has a brand. and he swings that brand around everywhere he goes. That's what you're supposed to do. It's called marketing. It's called keeping yourself relevant and making money. You put your brand out every chance you get. Colin's brand is the volume. Host a bunch of podcasts, put a bunch of podcasts in business, even had Club Shay Shay and Nightcap for a while. So it's brand recognition, and we know his brand, and he shall be what his brand says he is, legendary. But anyway, man, I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all know what we do. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your comments down in the comment section. It's one mistake, but the Wolves are knocking at the door because this is something they've been waiting on. And trust you me, they are going to bleed it dry for the next 3 weeks until camp starts. We're going to hear about this speeding ticket 100 times over. Even though the news cycle will switch, the speeding ticket will rear its ugly head over and over and over again. But I'm going to get out of here, man. Y'all have a good day. Watch some of them videos to the left, to the right, up on the screen right now. I'm going to holler at y'all. Y'all be easy. I'm out. Peace.